Hi everyone, this is Dr. Aitsi-Selmi for another episode of Wise Wednesdays. Have you ever had a colleague or a person in your life that makes you feel so frustrated that you feel the situation is toxic? Well, today I want to share 3 myths and 1 truth about toxic people. I was approached by a hedge fund owner last week about helping him coach his team, or rather coaching his team. I don't normally work with hedge funds. I normally work with doctors, either medical or academic, sometimes in the corporate sector. So I did some research on hedge fund psychology, and it turns out there's quite a bit of research out there on what's called the dark triad. And these are people who display these 3 traits. It's a combination of psychopathy, so people who display little guilt, who have very little remorse. People who display narcissism, so who have very little empathy for others, feel things are an extension of themselves, and will use charm even if they don't mean it. And people who are Machiavellian or Machiavellianism, where people are very manipulative and will lie to get what they want. So let's call them toxic people as short. So here are 3 things, or 4 things rather, that you may not know based on research. Number 1, toxic people or dark triad people make more money. That is a myth. The study that I looked at in a hedge fund actually showed they made a bit less money. And over time, this would become significant. Number 2, women are as bad as men. That is a myth. If you experience aggression at work, it's more likely to be from a man, and it's probably because they have the dark triad trait. The converse is not true. If you feel manipulated through lies or through charm, that is not more likely to be a woman. But it's true that women are catching up in terms of the prevalence of dark triad and these toxic behaviors, unfortunately. Number 3, toxic people or people with dark triad are born that way, or they had a difficult upbringing, difficult experiences in childhood, and that's why they're that way. Neither is true. It's a combination of both. So they may have genetic traits that are enabled or activated by the upbringing. And sadly, there isn't much treatment, or treatment possibilities are limited, especially because people with dark triad or toxic people don't normally ask for help because they don't think they have a problem. Number 4, people with dark triad or toxic people have more power. Unfortunately, that is true. The prevalence of dark triad or of toxic behavior is higher amongst CEOs and the upper echelons of management. But do not be disheartened, because the number of people with those traits is still low compared to the majority of people. So whenever you see someone who displays this toxic behavior, do a little exercise and bring to mind people who actually are inspiring or do good things. And that will balance your perspective and give you a bit more power and agency to take action that might help you, rather than play into the toxic person's game. I like the saying that for evil to triumph, all that's needed is for good people to do nothing. So it's important not to give up. Even if you've experienced toxicity, or you're currently involved in a situation that involves a toxic person or several toxic people. And having coached a number of high achievers who work in high performance environment, are very stressful, that involve life and death sometimes, I know it can be difficult, and the toxic person doesn't need to be the center of your attention. The important thing is that you focus on you and what you want, what it is that you're doing, what direction you're going in moment to moment. And if you stay with that, if you practice that, the toxic person's impact starts to diminish, and you'll find that either they drop out of your world or you drop out of theirs. So that's all I wanted to share today. Next week, I'll be talking about whose responsibility it is to deal with these toxic behaviors. So more on that next week. Stay tuned. I hope to reconnect with you again. Please subscribe or share with anybody who might benefit from this, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.